What's going on, y'all? BlueFalcon here. Welcome to the Old School Podcast, the podcast where we talk about current events and modern trends and explain why life would be better with a traditional old school mindset. So, you guys, today we have an interesting topic because you read the title. We're talking about the over-sexualization of children. Let's just get right into it, all right? So this is a video. As you can see, it says VA mom goes viral for confronting school board over explicit books. All right, this is coming to you by way of Fox News. So let's see what they have to say.
A Virginia school system has suspended circulation of 2 books from their library after a mother expressed concern about their explicit material.
Both of these books include pedophilia.
There are children in the audience here.
Do not interrupt my time. Do not interrupt my time.
I would like to remind everybody.
I will stand here until my time is restored and my time is finished.
But why were these books on the school shelves in the first place? That outraged Fairfax, Virginia mom of 6, Stacy Langton, joins us now. Stacy, you're a hero to me. Thank you for doing what you did. How ironic that you read directly from the books that they provide in their library and they said it was offensive and that there were kids in the audience.
Now, check this out, you guys. Notice they saying that she read directly from the books. Oh, y'all hear me? She read directly from the books, and now the school board wants to say it's offensive because we have children in the audience. But pause. It wasn't offensive when you put it in the school library where those children reside, right? It wasn't offensive then. It's not offensive when your innocent boy or girl in school is going to the library. Hey, what's this book? And they're reading all the stuff about pedophilia. It wasn't offensive then. It's only offensive when the mom is calling the school board out on their BS. Now it's offensive. Right.
Yeah, it's almost like she was making my point for me.
Yeah. You think? Yeah, absolutely. So is this the fault of the school board? How much responsibility does the librarian have in this?
Well, that's what I don't know the answer to, okay? And I would like to get those answers. I don't know how this process works. I don't know who makes these decisions. So I would like to know that. Who puts the materials in our children's school libraries? Is it coming from some committee on high? Is it down to a person? I don't think this is a situation where it's the librarian per se, because one of the first things I did when I found out that the book was in my child's library was I checked a couple of the other schools that are geographically near me to see if it was in those libraries, and it is. Yeah. So, you know.
Hold on, time out. So you're telling me that it's not only present in one school, is present in a lot of other schools in the vicinity. What does that tell you? That tells you that it's a concerted effort, not just by that librarian in that particular school. No. This is a concerted effort by the school administration, perhaps nationwide. Because there's a concerted effort to what? Sexualize these students, these children, way before their time. I mean, what happened to the days, even though it was BS nonsense anyway, but what happened to the days of going to your school and just reading about green eggs and ham? What happened to that? What about going to school and just reading about Clifford, the big red dog? What happened to that? Now we're talking about books that contain pedophilia, that contain gender orientation. What happened to the days where it was just boy and girl? Now we have all these, I don't even know, all this alphabet soup, labels that they want to throw upon gender, and for what? Just for utter confusion. And this is what I ultimately do not like about the whole agenda as a whole, right? You see, they want to try to jump on the black plight. You see, ever since the days of the civil rights movement, you always had our people talk about we want equal rights, right? We want to be treated as human. Now you had feminism try to do the same thing, try to jump on that same bandwagon. Oh, we want to be treated as human, as if women were not treated as human. And now you have the LGBTQ try to jump on this bandwagon and say the same thing. Oh, they want to be treated as human. Nobody's not treating you like human. You ain't being lynched. You're not being chased by dogs. Oh, you don't understand. There's some communities where people in the LGBT community is being attacked. Pause. You see, let's face the reality of the situation. If you look deep down inside within their agenda, it has nothing to do about being treated equal. All they're pushing for is for a preference, a sexual preference. That's all it is. That's all they're pushing for, a sexual preference. They want the right to be able to sleep with whatever partner they want. And by all means, do that. I mean, Obama already passed that law. He passed the bill. You could do whatever the hell you want. But stop coming after our children. Stop coming after our children. You see, and that's the problem that we're facing right now. Why do these books have to exist? Not in just one school, in all the schools nationwide. Why do a child need to read about pedophilia? Why are we even promoting such a message to children?
It's not a single librarian who did this. No, it's probably bigger.
Oh, absolutely. And Stacy, to be clear, I mean, these are books and images. Some of them are like in a cartoon form, by the way, so it's even more attractive to kids. It's man-boy love. It's straight up pedophilia. I have no idea. I mean, I was embarrassed hearing you say it, but I'm glad that, because I saw the clip, and people can go online onto Twitter or other social media to hear what you had to say and see the images themselves. It's definitely not appropriate. Stacy, the other day I saw another image of a mom who was in a public transportation, and there was very explicit advertisements that were just totally inappropriate for kids, and she was tearing them down. And I think it's really hard for people to understand that there are people out there with an agenda who want to rob your children of their right to childhood innocence. Isn't that what this is about?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that these images, and it's not just images, right? Like, there was an adult novel that was just a normal text novel, and it described very sexually explicit acts as well. But it can't be unseen. It's something that is so shocking, and it's not age appropriate. It shouldn't be in the schools, and it shouldn't be accessible to children of any age. This is strictly unambiguous X-rated material, 18 and over only. And one of the things that upset me a lot was when I was interrupted by the board member who shouted at me, and she said, "It's for high school, ma'am," like as if that's okay, but it's not. But it's not for high school only, and that's what I corrected her on. I said, no, this is in Robinson Secondary School too, because Robinson is just down the street from my house, and that is a combined middle school and high school, right? So you've got kids as young as 12 being able to check out these books at Robinson.
It's not appropriate for high school
it shouldn't be.
And let's actually address this real quick, right? You see, because they say, oh, it was for high school, as if that makes it any better. Look, when you first enter high school, at least when I was growing up, I was 14 years old, right? It's from 14 to 18. Give or take, whether it's people got left back or whatever the case is, or they entered the high school early. But roughly speaking, it's 4 years of high school, 14 to 18 years old, right? And, when I was growing up, and I'm reflecting on it right now, why do you, at the age of high school, have to be taught about sexual things? Now, I know some of you are going to say, oh, they're growing up, you need to, teach them about sexual orientation. No, you do not. No, you do not. Leave it up to their parents to teach them about sexual orientation. Leave it up to their parents to teach them about, their body or whatever the case may be. I don't need the school for that. If I'm going to send my child to school, which I don't recommend anyway. If you saw some of my past live videos, you know that I don't recommend going to these public school systems any damn way, right? Homeschool your children. But if I did, I'm just to entertain this conversation. If I was going to send my child to school, just teach them ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, right? That's an oversimplification, but teach them math, teach them English, teach them science, teach them social studies, right? History, that's it. And any variation of those. That's all I need my child to learn. I do not need my child to learn about sexual orientation. This is why you have all these children in high school, having children out of wedlock, children in high school already having sex. I mean, I ain't ashamed. By the time I had sex, sure, I was married, and I think the Most High for that. I'm glad that my parents taught me better. That I saved myself till marriage. Why do I need to know about sex in high school? Oh, but the children are doing it anyway, so we got to teach them how to protect themselves. BS. Teach them what they need to learn and why they came to school, which is to learn. Like I said, learn ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and keep it pushing.
It's just not appropriate.
No.
It's pedophilia and it's against the law. By the way, here's a statement that we got.
It is against the law, and
Yes.
that was the point that I did not get to make. I was very angry during the meeting that they stole my time. We're supposed to be given 2 minutes to speak, to address the board. It's not a back and forth. It's not a question and answer. They're supposed to be polite and respectful and listen to what the parents have to say for those 2 minutes. And by the way, they never interrupted anybody else, but they cut me off with 30 seconds. And the last thing I wanted to say was, hey, by the way, it's against the law. Here's the law in the books for the state of Virginia. You can't do this. So if it's illegal out in town, why is it on campus? It's not okay on campus either.
Yeah,
So
it's indefensible. It's hard to believe that they would try to cut you off and defend this. Here's a statement, by the way, from the Fairfax County Public Schools. They said the circulation of these books has been suspended while a committee reviews and makes recommendations about the text. Stacy, you're a hero. That book is removed because of you, and I think you're sending a message to parents all across America that it's time for us to take charge, stop co-parenting with the government, and these are our kids. So thank you.
Woo! That is a good statement. Stop co-parenting with the state. But guess what? Why are they able to co-parent? Because you got those birth certificates. So you signed a third party contractual agreement with the state. So those children that you have belong to the state. So you co-parenting with the state. You see, and that's so. Don't try to complain when they introduce these books into the school systems, right? Don't complain. You see, how about you listen to wise men who came before you? And I'm not talking about myself. I mean, the stuff that I'm talking about, I've learned it from men who are far wiser than myself. And they told me, they taught me the game already, long time ago. Don't put your children in those damn school systems. Don't do it. And if you do, that's on you. Whatever befalls you, that's your problem. But we gave you the wisdom. And best believe I took heed. I ain't sending my children to those damn school systems. And look, don't get me wrong. That mom, I congratulate her for actually trying to fight back. I really do. But guess what? It's only going to be for a time until there's some other book under another name that just magically appeared in the school, in the library, right? We don't know how it got there, but it's going to be talking about pedophilia. It's going to be talking about sexual orientation. It's going to be talking about man and boy love. I mean, it's utterly sick out here. And let me tell you another thing too, right? You see, they have all these, you could just YouTube it. You'll see all these drag queens reading books to your children. Is that what you want? You have all these drag queens, men dressing up as women, coming and reading books to your little boys and girls. Is this what you want in society? I mean, hey, if you signed up for it, then you must be a sucker. I mean, you just must be a sucker. Hey, and I don't mean to offend none of you, but I mean, it is clear that there is an agenda. Get your children out of these schools. Save yourself. Save your family. Save your family if you love them at all. Take your children out of those school systems. Do you hear me? And look, you know, it's interesting because I couldn't believe that. Do anybody know Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers been talking about this a long time ago. Let me actually play this clip for you.
We were discussing sex when we did the takeoff in your show. Did you ever, are they too young for that? Did you ever get into?
That's where they learn the differences.
Yeah. Now, how do you handle it? What do you do to explain? What's your age range, would you think, who watch the show?
Mostly preschoolers, but I hesitate to say that because there's many older people who watch.
Absolutely.
But there's a song called Everybody's Fancy that I sing. Some are fancy on the outside, some are fancy on the inside. Everybody's fancy, everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine.
Now, guess what? I'm actually going to play the actual song. All right, and just pay attention to the dates at the bottom right of the screen. You'll actually see, again, this man has been peeping game from a long time ago, and it's so shocking. All right, just peep the dates. All right, but this is the actual song.
Some are fancy on the outside. Some are fancy on the inside. Yes, sir, everybody's fancy, everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine. Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy. Girls are girls right from the start. When you're born a girl baby, you grow up to be a bigger girl, and then a woman. Everybody's fancy. Everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine. Only girls can grow up to be the mummies. Only boys can grow up to be the daddies. Everybody's fancy, everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine. I think you're a special person, and I like your ins and outsides. Everybody's fancy, everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine.
Hey, I just want to, I hope you guys appreciated that song, but check this out. I would venture to say that if people, as much as people really loved Mr. Rogers back in the day, if Mr. Rogers was here today speaking this, he would have been canceled. He would have been straight up canceled. It's crazy. Did you hear the lyrics? He said, only girls grew up to be the mommies. Only boys grew up to be the daddies. I mean, it's clear where he stands on the topic. But I want to finish up the interview because you'll see why he made that song.
But the second verse is very important.
Now, what's the second verse?
Boys are boys from the beginning. Girls are girls right from the start. Everybody's fancy, everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine. Because sometimes children think that they might change. They might have to change after a while. And, you know, we laugh about that now. But it's because we had that concern when we were little.
Yeah, because you're really not sure, and you thought maybe you'd become a girl, or a girl would become a boy, right?
Exactly.
And it happens frequently out here. Sometimes.
And you see, despite the fact that Mr. Rogers is actually touching on a very serious topic, right? And notice he said that. He said, I know it may seem funny, but what happened? What did that host commence to do right after he spoke? He just like, it happens frequently out here, and the crowd is just laughing and going wild, right? You see, that's what happens. They try to desensitize the topic. Mr. Rogers would have straight up and down been canceled today, just off rip. And it's just sad because, again, I hope you guys can actually hear the message. This message, just like I said, it doesn't originate from me. It probably didn't even originate with Mr. Rogers. You can see the writing on the wall. There's been an agenda long time ago where they are trying to over-sexualize children. I mean, children don't even know what breakfast they want in the morning, let alone about their feelings or what they're going through. boys are boys from the beginning. Girls are girls from the start. That is the message. You ain't gonna be born a boy and somehow something happens in your mind where you think you're a girl and vice versa. That's a demon. Hey, nobody wants to hear that though. Nobody wants to hear that unpopular. Hey, BlueFalcon, just stick to video games. BlueFalcon, just stick to entertainment. You know, why you gotta talk about all this serious stuff? Why? Because the alternative is that you want to see your boys and girls read books about pedophilia? Is that the alternative? I mean, we gotta wake up as a people. As a people, America as a whole is in some big trouble. I mean, the dates I was seeing. This man was singing this song since 1968. That was before I was born, and he could see the writing on the wall. Things were looking bad, and he was trying to save society through what? He was trying to save society through his show, through singing, whatever the case may be. Something is seriously wrong with America. Anyway, I hope you guys are actually hearing the message. If you like videos like this, please like, subscribe, comment down below, because it definitely does help the channel out a lot. And you know, please share, because I think this is a message that we do need to hear in this daytime and hour. I mean, they are after our children. They really are. They're after our children. And if you are wise, I would beseech you, I implore you, save yourself, save your family from this wicked and untoward generation. This was the Old School Podcast. BlueFalcon over and out. Jesus is king, y'all.
Game to win. Game hard.